Hi Glenmore tennis players, Alex Savadoff here with another session of Stay at Home Tennis. It is snowing outside, it is cold, not going to be doing anything outdoors today, which means I am in the house with my whole family yet another day. Often it's great, sometimes you just need to turn some music on and disappear and just let everything go. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to get a great cardio workout. Okay, this first movement routine is going to be focusing on diagonal movement. Diagonally forward to hit ground strokes, diagonally backward to hit ground strokes. Okay, while I'm doing these, I want you to pay attention to the way you're placing your feet. When you're moving backward, you may opt to be in more open stance. When you're moving forward, you may opt to step in and step across a little bit more, okay? Also pay attention to the way you're swinging your racket. If you're just going through the motions, you won't get as much benefit out of it as if you really pretend you're striking a ball, pretend you're focused on a ball at the point of contact, and get your full shoulder turn. Make sure you're following through all the way. Any of those little cues you can give yourself are really gonna help. Let's try it out. Starting to get a good sweat going, and I'm breathing hard. I'm going to work on some volley strokes now, as you saw earlier. When I move forward for my volleys, I'm going to pretend there's a low ball. I'm going to get down really low, make sure I'm chipping the ball, opening the racket face as I hit it to make sure I'm clearing the net. Any high volley, when you move back, typically, it's going to be a high volley. Let's have the racket head up, shoulders turned, both hands to the ball. Make good contact with your eyes focused on contact, and then always recovering back to a ready position in the middle. Let's do some more. So, low volley forward. Low volley. High volleys. Low Now I'm gonna mix in some overheads. Okay, starting forward, turning my shoulder, show a good trophy position. That means you're looking up over your non-dominant arm. If I'm lefty, looking up over my right arm. Righty, looking up over my left arm. Okay, make sure you're not just backpedaling and looking in between your hands. Okay, shoulder turn, take a couple side shuffles back or a crossover step, and then make a jump to hit your overhead. And jump to hit the overhead. Split step, jump. Let's do about 20 of these. You practice that scissor kick technique if you want. Follow through. End of routine number 1. By the way, these exercises can be done as long as you want. If you've got 3 songs you want to do it for non-stop, good for you. I was pretty tired after 1. Maybe think about how low you're getting and how much you're exerting yourself with each of these movements. This is meant to be tough. Okay, so the next exercise, we're going to work on all tennis footwork. The same footwork I was using before. However, I'm going to be adding an additional focus of balancing a ball or bouncing a ball on your racket. Okay, the reason we do this, 1, because it's a fun challenge, but number 2 is in tennis, we've got to have perfect footwork. And at the same time, we have to ignore that and really be focused on the ball and how we're addressing the ball. So working on these 2 things at once allows you, hopefully, to allow those feet to become second nature. Allow all these foot patterns to happen while you're focusing on what you want to do with your racket and the ball. Let's try it. For a backhand step, split step, that's a forehand, it's a backhand, forehand, moving back for a backhand, back for a forehand. Okay, I can get my shoulders turned as I would when I'm hitting a stroke. Reaching that left arm across for my forehand. Open stance when I move back. Open stance when I move back. Cross over in the front to get down a little lower. Cross over, low. Just try and keep the ball bouncing as I do these now. Cross over. Crossing over. Open stance to the forehand. Open stance to the backhand. Crossing over. Crossing over. Extra credit if you can bounce the ball to the beat. My footwork started to break down a little bit as I concentrated more on the ball. Let me try and fix that a little better.
For the first time in a long time, I feel like myself. For the first time in a long time, when I
Okay, it's taking a little bit of time in between points, regaining my focus. Let's do it again. Try and hold that footwork form a little bit longer, as if you were taking the time to swing here. Set, swing, and recover. Set, swing, and recover. Try that overhead footwork, sideways, left arm across, and hit. Sideways, side shuffle, and hit. Sideways, hit. Sideways, hit. And pretend you're gonna hit that ball each time. Now we're going to add some instruction on technique for the strokes. So for both your ground strokes, forehands and backhands, we're going to break the technique down into 4 stages. First is going to be the unit turn. Okay? Second stage is going to be the slot position. That's where you get it. That's where your swing is at the lowest and you begin accelerating. Okay? Third position is contact. Fourth position is your follow through. If you can perfect each of those positions and tie them together in a nice fluid motion, you're going to have perfect strokes. Then it's just a matter of going out on court and executing it with the tennis ball. So let's walk through those first with the forehand. Okay. We're going to use the eye coach here in a little bit, but for the demonstration, the ball is here as a point of reference. That's where I want to make contact. Okay. I'm always going to start facing my opponent before I make that unit turn. Okay, on the forehand side, what you want to make sure you're always doing is reaching that non-dominant arm across. Okay, there's no exception to this rule. If you're not doing that, typically your shoulder turn and your range of motion in your stroke will fall. Okay, reach that left arm across. Notice the palm of my right hand, of my racket hand now, is facing you. Okay, and using a semi-western or eastern forehand grip, the racket face should be facing away from you as well. Same direction as your palm. Okay? Racket head is up at this stage. I haven't started speeding up my swing yet. I've just loaded up my shoulders to turn. Okay? My weight now is going to be on my right leg. Okay? The reason that's important is because I'm going to transfer my weight, either transferring it to my left foot as I swing, or I'm going to step into the shot. For both those movements, weight is required to be on my right leg. I'm a righty, weight's going to be on my right leg for my forehand. So, weight shifts over to my right, shoulders turn, left arm's across, racket head is up, facing away from me, same direction as my palm. Okay, that's a perfect unit turn. Okay. So we're going to practice that a few times, all by itself. The more we can practice these individual strokes in their own phases, the better we'll be able to loop them all together once we've committed each phase to muscle memory. So we're going to do 5 of these. Turn your shoulders, load on that right leg, and back to the ready position. load, and ready. Load, and ready. Load, and ready. Okay, that gives us the load. Next step is the slot position. This is where the stroke begins accelerating, and we're going to start opening up our body and transferring our energy into our racket and ultimately to the ball. Okay? So the slot position comes right after that load. We're going to start shifting our weight forward. So now our weight's going to be probably almost equal on both legs, and the racket head will now drop down with the palm facing downward and the racket head facing downward. Hopefully that's in the camera view. Uniturn, load. Okay. Notice my left hand, my non-dominant hand, is still out in front of me. I haven't fully uncoiled yet because I want my ball to go that way. I want my power going in that direction. I don't want this arm pulling my stroke away from the ball. Okay. Let's practice that a few times. Load and slot. Load and slot. Load, slot. Load, slot. What comes next? The contact point. Okay. For the contact point to be effective for you, it needs to be out in front of you. You can't be standing belly button even with the ball. Okay? That's late. I'm not able to get my weight into the shot if I'm doing that. Contact's got to be out in front of that front leg. For me, that's my left leg on my forehand. Right about here. I'm still very much in balance when I hit the ball, but it really allows me to transfer my weight now from my right leg forward. By the time I hit the ball, I'm already lifting up my back leg. Not sure if you can see that in the camera angle. Okay. Okay, so let's practice that a few times. Go from the unit turn to the slot position. Start uncoiling the arms. Boom. Racket head is going to be about level with your hand now. In the slot position, the head dropped down a little lower. Okay, by the time I contact the ball, my racket head is even with my hands. Okay, now my left hand still very close to my right hand here at contact. Again, I'm not going to pull it away, even during my contact. In fact, I'm going to keep my hands together pretty much for the entirety of my stroke. You'll see that in the follow-through. Okay. Shoulder turn, slot position, contact. Shoulder turn, slot position, contact. We can isolate just the second and the third phases. Slot position, contact. Slot position, contact. Slot position, contact. Notice I'm pushing off my legs, distributing my weight further toward my left leg, and I'm also lifting up. My stroke is going upward. I want to gain a little bit of that lift with my legs. Okay? Okay, finally, the follow-through. After contact, your swing is going to continue going forward, not across your body right away. Forward through the ball, toward your target, and then over or around your shoulder. Okay. Contact, we go through the ball, racket comes over, above my hand now, and I'm going to follow through right around my shoulder. My left hand is going to catch that racket over the other side. Okay, so let's practice that entire chain all together. Shoulder turn, okay, slot position, contact, follow through. Elbow needs to be pointing right toward where you want the ball to go. I'm going to hit it right at the camera. My elbow should be finishing right at the camera. Isolate each of those moves a little bit more. Unit turn, all my weight's here on my right leg. I can lift up my left leg if I need to. Transfer the weight forward and drop that racket head down. Palm down, there's my slot position. Contact, out in front of me. Follow through, elbow toward your target, catching your racket on the left side of you. Notice my left hand and my right hand never separate more than a foot or a foot and a half. One more time. Load, slot, contact, follow through. Okay, that was the forehand side. Now we're going to go through the same sequence on the backhand side. I hit a two-handed backhand, but I'm going to try and do this both for a two-hander, one-hander, and we'll do a slice in the end. Okay, so starting with the ready position, weight is now transferring to my left, to whatever side I'm moving to. Okay, I'm going to load on my left leg. My shoulders are going to turn, so my right shoulder pins itself up against my chin. That's how I know I've got enough shoulder turn. I'm reaching my right arm or my dominant arm back behind me. Okay, and again you'll see the racket head is up. My hitting surface is facing away from me right now. Okay. There's my unit turn. Next step, I'm going to transfer the weight forward, and this requires a step on the backhand side now. On the forehand, you can stay in an open stance and just transfer your weight. On the backhand, you're going to almost always make a step in to initiate your forward movement. Step in, I'm going to dip my front shoulder down lower, my hands are going to dip down, and my racket face is going to face more downward. You notice on my backhand, I typically keep my racket head up a little bit longer because that's the wrist position I want to be in when I make contact with the ball. I'm going to maintain that wrist position when I take my racket back. Here, racket head is still up, then I'm going to drop it down. There's my true slot position with the racket head down below my hands because it's going to accelerate upward right before contact to meet the ball. That's what's going to give me that spin on the ball. Okay. The longer my racket lags down below my hand, the faster it's got to accelerate at contact. That's where you get your spin. Okay. Unit turn, slot position, contact. Same concepts as on the forehand. Racket head should be about level with your hands. Ball should be out in front of you. Weight should have now transferred out in front, and you should be able to lift up that back leg. And the follow through on the backhand, very much like the forehand, you're going to finish with your non-dominant elbow pointing right toward your target. So here it is in sequence. Unit turn, weight transfer, slot position, contact, follow through. Okay. I'm not facing the camera until in my follow through. At contact, you'll notice my belly button is still lined up right toward the ball. Let's try a few in full motion, full speed. That was slow motion. One last thing I noticed about the way I hit that, if my eyes stay focused on the ball and I'm uncoiling my shoulders, I'm going to finish with my chin on my left shoulder. So I transfer from my right shoulder to my left shoulder while my head stays down. Now for the one-handed backhand. Very similar, but now the left hand is going to stay up here on the throat of the racket. Unit turn, you're going to pull that right arm across, put your chin on your shoulder, hand stays up nice and high, racket head is up above the hands. Okay. Right there, and all my weight's on my back leg right now. I'm ready to step in towards the ball. When I do step in, that hand drops down, racket head faces downward a little bit more. Okay. There's my slot position, straight arm, transferring my weight forward, hips start moving into the shot. But I'm still have my right shoulder blade facing my opponent. Then as I uncoil and transfer my weight further, my racket head speeds upward to meet my hand, right at level with the ball. There's contact, and the follow through is going to be straight arm up above your head, up to your right, with your left hand acting as a rudder to direct where you want your stroke to go. If I'm hitting cross court, my right hand's going to finish in view, lining up the shot over there. If I'm going to hit it inside out, I'm turning my shoulders more. My left hand's going to stay back behind me. Let me hit a few of these. Drop down, contact, follow through. Shoulder turn, slot position, contact, and follow through. Shoulder turn, slot position, contact, follow through. Okay, finally the slice. Grip is important here. Got to be, what's that grip? Continental. Shoulder turn with a straight arm, racket head is up, and now instead of dropping down here into the slot position is going to be dipping the shoulder down, but keeping the hand up a little higher, because you're going to take a downward path toward the ball. Okay, if you remember from an earlier video, when I say downward path, I'm not saying down to your feet. I'm saying your hand starts up above the ball and it drops down to the level of the ball as you hit it. Shoulder turn, step in, racketed head is still up, contact here, follow through with the racket face open. The follow through goes right toward my target. There's the slice backhand. Now let's add some tunes and make this a workout. Just working on that unit turn. Backhand. I'm gonna add the slot position. Go to contact. And let's hit some. I'm going to hold my follow through a little bit longer than I normally would. Pretty tired here. Fun. fun stuff. It's up to you how long you want to do these. But remember, focus on your footwork, focus on your technique. If you do, it will improve your tennis once we get back on the courts. I will see you next time. Thank you, Glenmore. Have a great day.